Hi, I'm Laura Fry, Senior Curator and Curator of Art at Gilcrease Museum. Over the years, the American art collection at Gilcrease has become especially well known for images of the American West. But as it happens, what we typically think of as Western American art really originated in the Eastern United States. And as one example, today I'm going to take a look at the surprising backstory of the artist Charles Schreyvogel. And he created some of the most epic images of the Western frontier from his home in New Jersey. Charles Schreyvogel was born to German immigrant parents in New York City in 1861. When he was a young child, they immigrated across the river to the German-American community of Hoboken, New Jersey. And at first, Schreyvogel simply worked as a portrait painter in Hoboken. But in 1893, he had his first chance to travel to the American West. And then in 1894, Buffalo Bill's Wild West show visited Ambrose Park, Brooklyn. There were performances staged in Brooklyn for the entire summer. This was pretty close to Charles Schreyvogel's home, and he took advantage of that. He spent the whole summer making sketches of the performances and making sketches in the camp for the Wild West show. And this performed, sensationalized version of the Wild West really influenced Schreyvogel's paintings. But after a season in Brooklyn, Buffalo Bill's Wild West moved on. So how would Schreyvogel find models and inspiration for his Western paintings from New Jersey? As it turns out, it was easy. Schreyvogel simply recruited friends, neighbors, and a local cavalry veteran to pose for his paintings. And you can see one example in this 1903 photograph from the collection of the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. And this photo shows Schreyvogel painting a man in a cowboy outfit on the roof of his Hoboken apartment. The model seems to emerge straight from the Western frontier. He's got boots and spurs and an ammunition belt, scarf, cowboy hat, and of course, he's pointing his 6-shooter straight at the painter's canvas. Schreyvogel, by contrast, is neatly dressed in derby hat, white collar, dark coat with carefully polished shoes. And in the background of the photograph, you can see this forest of chimneys and smokestacks. It really speaks to the booming population and growing industry in this region around New York City in the early 20th century. The menacing pose of the frontier cowboy in this photograph is echoed in one of Charles Schreyvogel's most famous paintings, Breaking Through the Line, from the Gilcrease collection. And in this painting, a cavalry soldier charges forward. He's leaning across the horse's neck with his revolver aimed exactly at the audience. This painting is capturing a really intense sense of drama. It's just bursting from the center of the canvas. But while this scene feels very realistic, Schreyvogel never witnessed a genuine cavalry fight in person. And the closest he ever came was watching fictional reenactments in Buffalo Bill's Wild West. Nonetheless, Schreyvogel's images helped to define widespread perceptions of the American West. This Eastern view that the West was a place of endless adventure and glorified violence was largely driven by painters like Schreyvogel and also by other painters like his rival Frederick Remington, who also lived in the greater New York City area. And in turn, their vision of the American West influenced the earliest American cinema. The central gunman in Breaking Through the Line bears a striking resemblance to the infamous bandit in the 1903 film The Great Train Robbery, and this is considered the first Western film ever produced. Schreyvogel's paintings would continue to influence Western cinema for several decades into the 20th century. In fact, John Ford, the famous Western movie director, kept a book of Schreyvogel's prints close to his bedside, and according to Ford's son, he would study Schreyvogel's images to dream up action sequences for his films. Many years later, Schreyvogel's painting Breaking Through the Line inspired a very different response by another New York artist, Andy Warhol. Warhol used this work for the basis for his screen print action picture in 1986. And the confrontational nature of Schreyvogel's painting really echoed the way that Warhol would often deliberately provoke his audience in his work. And in the end, Schreyvogel's paintings tell us a lot more about Charles Schreyvogel and about his New York art market and audience than they do about the history of the American West. And given the profound impact of his paintings on the American imagination, Schreyvogel's work also demonstrates how art has the power to shape public opinion for generations. So you can come visit us at gilcrease.org to see Breaking Through the Line and many other works by Charles Schreyvogel in the Gilcrease collections. Thank you, and stay well.